Why do so many pretty people not realize that they are pretty? It is so frustrating because I was just hanging out with one of my pretty friends and he was acting like he was just average when in actuality, anyone with 2 eyes would tell you that he's God's favorite. What makes this so frustrating is this dude doesn't even try and he looks like a model. He's got like 0% body fat, 6'5". He could wear a trash bag and make it look good. We were at the bar just catching up because we had not hung out in a while and he was telling me about this girl he was interested in but didn't pursue because he was nervous. He goes on to tell me that he doesn't think that she'll be interested in him because she's like a 10 and he's like a 6. After he self-diagnosed himself as a 6, I was like, if he's a 6, I'm a negative number. And that I'm not having that. So I was like, you are not a 6, bro. And I know some of you will be like, oh, he was just fishing for compliments. He was just trying to get you to pump him up. No, I've known this dude for so long. He doesn't give a shit about any of that. I'm so serious. And I tell him, I'm like, shoot your shot. She may say no, but I want you to know that the problem is not the presentation. He tells me, I don't know, I'm just not everybody's type. I tell him, you are a model, bro. You are a model. He responds telling me, no, I'm not a model. I tried that and I'm so bad at it. In my head, I'm like, you just told me that you had the opportunity to model. I wonder why. So what I deduced from that was he has it going on up here, but not in here. But I've seen this behavior with other pretty friends of mine, and it's so real to them. Like, they aren't fishing. Like, they truly believe that they are not good looking. It is always the prettiest people that have the least amount of self-confidence when it comes to their looks. And that is just so sad to me. Pretty people need to start getting ugly confidence. Back in 2016, if you wanted to make money as a kid, the way to go was starting a slime Instagram account. And I would know because I created one and I made some shmoolah. But I had some shady customers. Looking back, I like to consider myself like the Steve Jobs of slime because I really revolutionized the industry. I do custom orders. I had amazing customer service. I had top quality slime. And I was successful. I was getting orders out the wazoo. And honestly, I think I'd still be in business to this day if I didn't make this one mistake. Not knowing at all what I was alluding to, 15-year-old Mark named the Instagram account Slime Dealer 420. In Lil Marker's mind, dealer was somebody that sold stuff, and 420 was a funny number that people would say in school. At first, the business was honest. I got to make slime, and then middle schoolers would buy it off my Instagram account, and my parents would help package it up and send it over to them, and they would just PayPal me. But then I got a DM one day, and somebody wanted broccoli. And I was like, oh, you want broccoli slime? That's a new one. In my head, I was like, oh, I guess I can make the slime look like broccoli. So then I message him back. I'm like, oh, how much do you want? And he tells me that he wants an 1/8. In my head, I'm like, an eighth? An eighth of what? So I text him back. I'm like, units? Question mark. He responds, LOL. 3.5 G's. I was like, oh, grams. And before I could start making the 3.5 grams of slime that looks like broccoli, he messages me, how much you want for it? I tell him, $20 with shipping. He was ecstatic. He was just like, oh, that's a great deal. Fire emoji. In my head, I was like, I thought I was selling at a premium. Maybe I should raise my rates. But I go ahead and start making the slime that looks like broccoli. I think I got pretty close. It looked something like this. Like, doesn't that look like the head of a broccoli? I send this dude photos of the custom slime I just created for him. And he responds saying, you're joking, right? I said, no. This is real, 100% quality broccoli slime. He explains to me that he thought I was selling the devil's lettuce. And in my head, I was like, why would you think I would do such an impure thing? So I block him because I don't want that sort of customer.
And bro, it took 3 more people reaching out asking for the devil's lettuce for me to connect the dots between my Instagram handle and...
I actually look up the definition of 420, and bro, I felt so dirty after that. I thought I was doing something illegal just because I had that number in my handle. I deleted my account, threw up my slime, and I was like, I'm done with this business. But now I know why $20 was such a good deal for an 1/8. I used to think that I hadn't embarrassed myself too much during college. That's until I remember what I did one night my freshman year. It was like a Friday night, and me and a couple of my new college buddies really wanted to go to a frat party because we were new to college, we'd never been to one before, and we just wanted to know what it was like. We were also new to college that we didn't even know how to get our hands on alcohol. And up until this point, I had not gotten drunk before. Like, I had drank before, but I had not gotten drunk. So when me and my freshman buddies got the news that there was a frat party with free jungle juice on Friday, we knew we had to go. We pull up to the frat, and by the grace of God, all 5 5 of us guys get in. I think that the only reason that they let us in was because they were trying to get us to rush. To our surprise, when we got into the frat, there was no jungle juice left. And it wasn't even that late. It was like 10 p.m. So me and my friends were all just dead sober, standing around in this stinky frat. The party was kind of dead anyways, so we all agreed that we'd stay there for 10 more minutes and give it a chance, and then leave if it didn't get better. But as we were just standing around waiting for things to change, one of the brothers of the fraternity comes up to us. He was just like, "Hey broskies, I want to see each and every one of you in Pi Sigma Alpha. As an extra incentive to join, if you sign right here on this paper, you'll get a free glass of jungle juice." In my head, I was like, that is false advertising. You did not mention that in your flyer. So everyone else decided to sign but me to get the free jungle juice, because I wasn't gonna get tricked. Update. I got tricked. Fast forward, all of my friends get their drinks and they're all happily standing there while I'm left sad and drinkless. That's until I look over into the frat kitchen and I see a handle of vodka, a Solo cup, and a Pepsi. In that moment, I had a mission. So I grabbed the Solo cup and I mixed the handle and the Pepsi. Now, I didn't even feel bad because I felt like the frat tricked us all. I finished my drink, I get myself another one, and I'm realizing that I'm really starting to feel the music. The alcohol was really kicking in. I start getting real social, talking to everyone. Then the song Jordan Belfort comes on, and I start jumping, bro. I know there are videos from that night, and they will never surface. I was being a cringeosaurus Rex, and that wasn't even the worst of it. You know the song Only Girl in the World by Rihanna? I feel like I'm the only girl in the world. And that came on, I started doing the worm on the frat floor. I'm getting embarrassed just thinking about it. In the moment, I knew what I was doing was a little cringe, but I didn't really care because I was drunk, or at least I thought I was drunk. One of my friends finished their jungle juice and they decided to fill their cup back up with a little bit of the vodka from the handle I used in my drink. My friend quickly realized that there was no vodka in that handle, and they swiftly informed me that the handle was full of water. The entire time I was jumping around the frat, doing the worm on the floor, absolutely embarrassing myself. I was dead sober. My friends dragged me for that for weeks. We're like, you did the worm in a frat sober. Yup. To this day, I don't know if that was just placebo or I just needed an excuse to be a weird freak. I spent $500 of my parents' money on Clash of Clans. And bro, I got in so much trouble. I was like 13 years old. I just downloaded Clash, and all of my friends' bases were better than mine because they downloaded it way before me. So my base was just getting demolished by anyone and everyone that wanted to, and that made me feel kind of inferior to all of my friends, and I wasn't having that. Now, I saw that you could buy currency in the game, and I didn't make money, nor did I have money, but I was like, you know, might as well try. Maybe they'll give me a freebie. So I clicked the button to buy currency. Next thing you know, I get a pop-up saying, would you like to purchase the 500 diamonds for $5? And in Low Marker's head, I was like, yes, of course, that's such a great deal. So I hit buy, and to my surprise, the diamonds actually show up in my account. It was like an adrenaline rush. That instant gratification felt so good. Fast forward, I spend those diamonds in the game, and I'm hungry for more. I go back to the page where you can buy the diamonds, or like the gems, the green ones, and I see that if you buy more of them, it costs less per diamond. Like if you buy in bulk, it costs less. If I spent $100, I would get way more diamonds per dollar than if I spent $5. So I go ahead and I spend $100 on Clash of Clans. I get like 1,000 something diamonds, and I get an even bigger rush. These games are like gambling. Next thing you know, I spend all those diamonds in the game, and I come back for more, and then more, and then more. I spent a total of $505 on Clash of Clans over the course of a month. To add insult to injury, my base wasn't even that good. Like, my friends still had better bases than me. In my defense, though, I didn't really think I was spending real money because it was just way too easy to buy things. I thought there'd be more hoops to jump through. At the end of the month, when my parents' credit card statement finally rolled in, I got in so much trouble. Grounded. I had to use a flip phone for almost a year. And then I got one of the most scarring punishments. My parents picked me up from school one day and they're like, Mark, you're going to jail. I was just like, what are you guys talking about? I know the law. I didn't even go to court. I'm not going to jail. Parents were all nonchalant and they were like, all right, think what you think. We're still taking you there. I start questioning my own knowledge. I'm like, wait, maybe I can get detained. We start driving, and we're definitely not going in the direction of home. Fast forward, I see the barbed wire fence of the prison through the car window, and I start crying. I'm just like, please don't take me to prison. prison. I'm just a kid. I'm just a child. Fully believed that I was going to prison. And then we just drove right past it and we went home. We'll never forget that. Pretty sure we were able to email somebody and get the money back, but just don't do that. The lengths some women go to stalk men is insane to me, and I would know because I witnessed it with my own two eyes. The other day, one of my childhood neighbors calls me up, and she's just like, "Hey Mark, by any chance, do you know a John Smith? I see that you're connected with him on LinkedIn." I'm just like, yeah, I mean, we had a couple conversations in college, but that's about it. Mind you, I have not talked to this girl in years. Like, I don't even remember the last time I talked to her. And she didn't even introduce herself. She was like, "Do you know John Smith?" She's just like, "Anything alarming about this dude? Anything you think I should know?" Tell her, "No, nothing that I can think of right off of the top of my head. Why do you ask? Should I be concerned?" She was just like, "Oh no, I just met John Smith at my friend's party and we really got along, and he doesn't have social media, so I just wanted to vet him before I pursued him any further." I was like, "Oh, interesting." But in my head, I was like, "It was pretty bold of you to give me a call." He goes on to be like, "Oh, so you went to college with him. Do you know if he was like a good student or not?" It's like, I mean, I didn't really keep track of his grades, but he like graduated." She was just like, "Did you see John at parties a lot?" Like, maybe a couple of times, but those memories are all a little blurry. Now, I thought it would stop there because that was a pretty in-depth questionnaire for someone that didn't even really know John Smith that well. But it didn't stop there. She had more questions. It's just like, "By any chance, do you know if John was friends with anybody by the name of James Davis?" By the way, all of these names are fake for anonymity. After she asked if he was friends with James, I was like, I mean, probably. John was a relatively popular dude. Mind you, after I give her any information on this dude, I hear her little fingers tapping her phone, meaning she was writing all of this shit down. She then goes on to ask me craziest thing. It was just like, "As I was doing my research, I came upon John's dad's obituary. Do you think that had a profound effect on his life?" What? One, you found his dad's obituary. Two, of course it had a profound effect on his life. And three, you're asking me? After she asked that, I was like, I'm sure it had a huge impact on his life. But I really have to go now. So I just end the call, and I'm left to grapple with all of that. Now I feel like I have to warn John Smith about this girl. She went to his father's obituary. What's next? Did she secretly take a DNA sample from him and she's gonna do a 23andMe? Hell, now I'm scared the file that she has on me. I have been stalked before by both men and women, and with men it's terrifying because you don't know whether or not to be scared for your life or not, and with women you don't know how much information they have on you, so you don't know whether or not to be scared till it's too late and you're already in a relationship. I don't think I can trust any of you guys anymore, because none of you told me that the phrase "I'll peg you" had an inappropriate meaning. And I had to find that out in the most embarrassing way. The other night, I was playing video games with 3 of my so-called friends when out of nowhere, one of them sneak attacks me and hits me right in the face with a ball. After he hit me, I stopped playing. I was like, what was that all about? He starts acting all goofy, so I grabbed the ball and I'm just like, "I'll peg you." The rest of my friends kind of chuckled and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna peg him?" Me being the imbecile that I am, I was just like, "Yeah, why are you guys laughing? He did me dirty." Tell me why my friends were just like, "Yeah, I'm sure he did you real dirty." For some reason, that didn't get through my thick skull, and I was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna peg him hard." The entire room erupted into laughter after I told him that I'm gonna peg him hard, and I did not know why. But we were all a little tipsy, so I kind of just brushed it off and excused it as us being drunk. A couple moments later, out of nowhere, one of my other friends brings up how they used to love playing dodgeball. They were just like, "Yeah, I just loved pegging so many different people in one day." Everyone laughed, yet again, except for me. In my head, I was like, what's so funny about pegging? Fast forward like an hour later, I had forgotten about this whole pegging situation. The same friend that brought up the dodgeball was just like, "Have you guys ever been pegged by 2 people at the same time?" And yet again, everyone laughed. And to add insult to injury, I asked, "You mean you got hit by 2 balls at the same time?" He was just like, "Yeah, I guess you could say that." And the crowd went wild. Everyone started laughing again. Now, I wanted to search what pegging meant so badly on my phone, but I didn't because I thought it would make me look stupid. Looking back, I know I would have looked way smarter if I just searched what it meant. Throughout the rest of the night, my friends put peg in every sentence and any sentence they could. And they thought it was funny every single time. By the end of the night, in my head, I convinced myself that this was just a big inside joke and only my friends thought the word peg was funny. Finally, I decided to leave my friend's house. And on the way home, I searched the meaning of peg.
I was devastated.
I thought it just meant to hit somebody with a ball. Why does everything have an inappropriate meaning? First edging, now pegging. I can't do this. Ever since graduating high school, I thought I'd never again hear someone say the phrase, "where my hug at," out loud, unironically. Yet last night I did. And it was insane. I was taking the train home and I forgot to bring my headphones, so I was kind of just listening into the conversations going on in the train car. And it's important to note that sitting right across from me was this woman around my age. Everything is normal at first, until we got to the second stop on the train. This dude gets on the train and I guess he knows the girl sitting right across from me because he's just like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And he tries to dab her up and fails tragically. Also, side note, this dude has an uncanny resemblance with Will Ferrell and he sounds almost exactly like Jack Harlow. Dude proceeds to sit right next to the girl and go, "Ha, how have you been? Long time no see, ha." The girl is so sweet because she's just like, "Oh, I've been good. I've just been working. How about you?" Dude goes, "Good to hear, good to hear. I've been keeping busy. Little music here, a little investing here. Shout out Bitcoin." Shout out Bitcoin. Who says that? This girl is so nice because she's just like, "Oh, that's so cool. I'm glad you're doing well for yourself." Dude goes, "Yeah, it is pretty cool, but it is a lot of work. If you want, like, I can teach you." This girl goes, "Oh, I appreciate that so much, but I've been really busy lately, so I don't think I can do that." This dude goes, "Are you sure? I could probably teach you in less than like 2 days at like Mikasa." The girl's just like, "I'll keep that in mind." Moments later, we get to the girl's stop and she gets up to get off of the train. The dude goes, "Adios, but like, where my hug at?" And he opens his arms. So awkward because the girl paused for a second and was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this." But then she just quickly hugged him just to get it over with and get off the train. It was icky. The dude stays on the train and he hops on FaceTime with his friend and he's just like, "Guess who I was just hanging out with?" He basically told his friend that he went on a date with this girl when it was just happen chance that they even saw each other. Yeah, I thought that shit was over in high school. I didn't know that there was adults that acted that way.